We're here at the Great Northern, a place that you play a lot and have for a long time. You've been playing in the Valley for more than 30 years. What were some of those early shows like?
Well, obviously there wasn't as many people probably attending because now all the places, so many more places between Whitefish and Big Fork, and all places in between. And so, the crowds have always been good. I've always had fun with them. I always really enjoyed all the little venues I played, from down in Ferndale all the way up into Big Fork and Kalispell, and then of course Whitefish, and then on the big mountain just right up the road there a bit. So really fun stuff.
Yeah, oh my gosh, I wish I could have been there, but it was a whole different vibe. What got you into playing music?
Yeah, Big Fork had a different vibe then than it does now. So did Whitefish. My father played guitar as a kid, and just like talking to my friend here, the Beatles probably. I'm one of those guys. When they played on the Ed Sullivan Show, I was really, really young, obviously. And it kind of changed the world for me, changed my world. I've said this before. I remember getting on the school bus the next morning and just like looking around and just thinking, oh my God, and everyone saw it. It was like, and of course, with no cell phones or social media, I don't know how everyone saw that show, but it seemed like the world watched it. And from that moment on, at 7 o'clock on Sunday night, or whenever it was, it just changed. It was amazing, amazing.
Yeah, that's so interesting. Were you able to, like, when you went to school that day, were other people talking about
Oh,
it?
that's all we talked about. Yeah, that's all we talked about. And then me and two other buddies immediately formed a band called the Unbeatables. None of us played instruments. I got my dad's guitar and did the air guitar thing, and then a buddy of mine got my mom's old sewing kit top, and he was the drummer, and then I don't think we knew what a bass guitar was, and we just dreamed of being chased around by girls, and still dreaming of that actually, but that's another story.
Yeah, it was aspirational for sure.
Yeah.
So when did you actually start being in bands or playing on your own? Because you did your own thing for a while.
I actually started doing the folky, Gordon Lightfoot, Simon & Garfunkel thing with a buddy of mine. We started this little duo thing, and we didn't go out and do gigs. We were young. We were in high school, or we were in high school, and we learned all these kind of really sensitive love songs, and then we kind of got a little band together, and then kind of got a little drummer, and then we just started actually doing gigs, and that was probably in the early 70s in Northern California, in Sonoma County and Sebastopol area. Yeah. And, it was genuinely pretty mediocre probably at the time. But it was really fun. I sure didn't know that, 40 years later I would be, still doing this. That is a mind blower, really.
Yeah, I always like to ask the musicians we bring on for this little concert series we have. Many of them don't do it as a full-time gig.
Right.
But I think it's interesting that our area is able to support that.
Right.
Yeah.
It's funny, I was talking about that the other day with some friends, and in the day, this is all I've ever done since moving to Montana. I did have a couple of waitering jobs, bartending in Big Fork. I worked at the Buffalo Cafe as a waiter, and then kind of got into this. But I also worked a lot of what they called house band jobs, and like at the Blue Moon or the Paul Bunyan, or where you set up like here, you set up your equipment 3, 4, 5 nights a week, and you left it there and you played there. And I did that on the big mountain for same amount of time I've played here almost. I played up on the big mountain. I just left my stuff up there all winter long. But those places don't exist anymore. There's no such thing, I don't think, in my mind right now, as a guy that's working 5 nights a week in the same club or bar, ski resort, whatever. Those things just are not there. And that was a great way to not spend a lot of time loading your equipment, unloading your equipment, driving. You came in, you set it up, you had it all there. You took your guitars home at night, of course. And so it's all different.
Yeah. Does it feel more like a 9 to 5 when all of your stuff is there and you don't have to pack it and unpack it?
Yeah, it was a great feeling. I miss those days because, obviously, as you saw, I come in here hours early to set all my stuff up to these gigs, and it's just what I do. It's part of my job, and I like to come in early like I was telling you, there's nobody here. It's really light. I can focus on, all my little things I have to do, and yeah.
Yeah. So you've been playing, you said the Northern, for more than 30 years. I imagine some of the other venues in the Valley for a while. What keeps you coming back to these places?
Oh, the crowds, they're really fun. And I get to do, at the Northern here, this is the place where I get to do almost anything I want, any kind of music I really want. When I go to the more restaurant-oriented, kind of venues, you got to kind of mind your P's and Q's a little more. Not that I ever get really raunchy. I got a couple of adult songs that I would probably do here more than I would do like at the Grouse Mountain Lodge, or when there's children present, or younger people, and 12 o'clock at night on a Thursday snowy night and at the Great Northern, anything pretty much goes, within reason,
What draws you to folk music?
Oh, I don't know. That's a really good question. It's something I just enjoyed from when I first started playing. I mean, it's just, I mentioned the Gordon Lightfoot, Simon and Garfunkel, James Taylor, kind of, just from that 60s folk world, and it was just so powerful then. Even though the folk music that I say was more commercialized, there's another level even below the Gordon Lightfoot and the James Taylor. Those guys are almost like pop singers. There's, real folk singers that most people are probably hardly not even aware of, that that didn't make the big break, like, Simon and Garfunkel and James Taylor. Those guys are huge artists in today's world, and have been since the 60s. And it was lovely music. I just really liked it, and still do. And I do a lot of those songs that I learned back in the in the 70s. I'll do those tonight. I'll do the same songs. Some of them I obviously do lots of other tunes, of course, but.
What's your favorite deep cut? I'm curious.
My favorite what?
Deep cut, like a folk artist from back in that era.
Oh,
like
wow, deep cut, good term. Let me write that down so I know it. Let me think about that. Well, you could throw in there, of course, Bob Dylan would be right in there with all his deep cuts. A lot of people are hip to Dylan, obviously. Mm-hmm. And even Jimmy Buffett back in the day, he got so popular, he kind of blew out of the whole circuit, but he was with those guys too in the 70s. He was doing the same thing as like Steve Goodman and John Prine, and he just got phenomenally famous. And I think when you get really famous like that, a lot of your fans kind of, they kind of, what's he doing now? And you just think to yourself, God, he just got really, like John Denver. Yeah. There's a guy that was, he was a folkie from the beginning, wrote those songs for Peter, Paul, and Mary, and then just got huge, just like, but I loved all those guys I mentioned. John Denver, I could sit up here and do 20 John Denver songs, and without doing the country roads and all his famous songs, it's those deep cuts, like, if you wanted to know one song, I would maybe think of a song called Poems, Prayers, and Promises, a John Denver song. Beautiful song. Just probably won't do it tonight, but and this gig here, I'm looking around the room. This is the Northern. Now it's nice and quiet, but as you know, you've been here. At 11 o'clock tonight, this place has a whole different energy to it at 11 o'clock. Yeah. And I kind of get caught up in that energy. I'm not sure I create the energy or they create it, and it takes me on the ride. It's kind of a 50-50 deal. I just see where I go. I never know what's going to happen in here.
That's so fun. So
it is fun. Thanks for saying that. Yeah.
Yeah. What are some of your musical inspirations these days? Like people you listen to?
Oh my gosh! One of my most favorite things, and I did it last night a lot, was, obviously there was no YouTube when I was a younger man. But I go home at night and listen to YouTube videos of just all these new people. And people always are suggesting, artists that I should, be listening to, and there's just so many you can't keep up. And especially a guy like me who does play kind of a variety. I kind of dabble in a little bit of the bluegrass. I play banjo, and my son, his band, he's thrown a lot of really big names at me of people I should listen to. And then playing electric guitar, I love Jimi Hendrix, and, I love Merle Haggard. So I kind of have a pretty good variety of, and that's I think what's kept me endeared to the Great Northern, because I look around at this crowd and when I walk in tonight through this back door here, I'll walk in here and I'll just go, okay, yeah, I see that, and it kind of, I have my certain songs that I do, my shtick, but then I just ask for requests and see where they want to go with this, like once again, I kind of just put the seatbelt on and go, here we go, let's see what happens.
Do you remember a request that you got was like really off the wall, but it ended up being a really fun choice?
Oh, that's another really good question. Yeah, I'm kind of almost embarrassed to say some of the songs people go, do you know how to play, Pina Colada or something, and songs that I have learned and just thought, gosh, what a great song. I'd never thought about that. And so I cater my music here at the Great Northern to people. I'm not trying to shoot over their heads with all this eclectic original stuff, which I'll probably do at the show for you guys. That'll be more original, totally original stuff. Mm-hmm. But here, like tonight, I'll just maybe do a handful of originals, if even that sometimes. I like to play songs to make people have fun with. That's my gig tonight, is to make people have fun.
I've just really got one more question for you.
Okay.
Since this is going to be, your show is coming out right at the new year. What are you looking forward to the most in 2024?
Oh, well, you talked about, I'm just so glad we're all back on track now. The COVID thing was just horrendous for musicians. It just absolutely, I remember playing here and playing at the Whitefish Lake Lodge and on a Saturday night, and the guy handed me my check, and we kind of made some jokes about, Corona beer. I remember nobody was thinking it serious and not really knowing this would have been would that have been March of 20? I think, was that when it kind of, and then the next morning, Sunday morning, I realized I read they closed the Big Mountain Ski Resort down and they canceled the Final Four, and I just went, and then, then I realized that maybe later that day that, oh my gosh, all my gigs just stopped. There was no income. It was a really intense time for not just me, but all the people who work here. This place was closed for, I don't know how long, a couple of months, 6 months, 5 months, I don't remember exactly, but it was a whole new world. So I'm really happy that that's behind us and the crowds came back, and really fun to, have people dancing and enjoying themselves again. There was a long time that nobody wanted to go out, and I don't blame them. I'm on that side of the coin where I listened to what my doctor said, and he was telling me, at my age and what I do for a living, like, you should stay out of those places for a while, and I did.
Yeah.
And my son's band again, the Little Smokies, they just were dead in the water. All those touring bands, they really took it hard. I got back into it a little easier because local, and I'm, I wasn't going on airplanes or traveling in buses with people or going to big, my joke was my son's band, those guys need 5,000 screaming hippie people in a, I could have a pretty good time down here with 50 people or even 15, whatever. And so I'm just thankful that we're back on track, and everyone has success and health, and I love playing in Whitefish and the Flathead. I don't have to travel anymore. I used to travel a lot, in the summers. In fact, I'd leave all these jobs. I'd go off and do these fair gigs, these state and county fairs. I don't do many of those anymore. The jobs are so nice here, and so I just want to stay around here. And it's just, who wants to leave the Flathead Valley in July, right?
Nobody does.
Nobody. If you got gigs here, that's when I think I'm the luckiest musician on planet Earth, that I just get to stay right here and not go anywhere.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Well, and the crowds never get tired of hearing you here.
I know, that's amazing, and I know I get a lot of my musician friends asking me that. How do you play the same place for 35 years or whatever? And I just go, I do a lot of the same songs, but my presentation is always different. It's always, upbeat, kind of keep it fun and lively. I'm not trying to change the world. What's my line here? I just want to go home with my chicken wings and watch ESPN. I don't have any agendas or anything, not trying to change anything.
Right.
And I think people kind of get the drift of that, a little bit.
Yeah.
And learn fun songs. I have a lot of fun songs I like to do with people, and so it's fun.
Yeah. Well, we're so excited to hear you play at Press Play in
Yeah.
January. It's going to be such a fun time. And thanks for joining me today.
Gosh, you're so welcome, Taylor. Yeah, thank you.